We start with Bitcoin. Just I want to give a quick update. And as we can see, the way the market is moving is within the big correction based on the monthly chart. That's why we don't have much update because if my last analysis I mentioned, we will be within this correction for most of the charts like Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and rest for the quite long time before we see the breakout. Okay, that's mean mostly if anyone wants to look for trade, they should look for trade as a short term. Anyway, again, we don't see much update. There is no much changes. The only thing is we are trading, or the market is trending within the bigger correction as what we can see based on weekly chart. Anyway, we check the charts and we want to see what we can expect. Okay, and if we move to lower time frame, we move to low weekly chart. Since the price was within here, I come up with this supports, and mostly as you can see, one times priced tag 51,500, and even we see the breakout for the short term, then we see the reversal, and still we can expect the price retest 51,500. That's mean we want to see the breakout of this correction. With the breakout of the 51, we can look 45. Okay, that's why if anyone wants to look for buy within the correction, they should know I mean, how to manage it if it doesn't move in their direction. Okay. Now the question is whether we can see the continuation, the next drop. We cannot confirm at this point, but the possibility for the price to retest the 51 is there. Okay. That's why if anyone wants to look for trade as a based on lower time frame, they should know how to manage. But for me, as I mentioned, I'm not really interested to look for the trade as a short term. Mostly, I'm looking for the trade as a long term. And if I move to lower time frame, if we move to daily chart, okay, we can consider this one as a correction for one move up. And as I mentioned at this point, for me, I'm not really interested to look for trade. And that's why I prefer to wait. And rather than that, I don't see anything else. How high it can go, because we mentioned with the breakout of this top, we can look for 77. But if we move to higher time frame, if we move to weekly chart, we have the targets. I think we put on, yeah, this is the targets with the breakout of the all-time high. We can look for 100 and 110 or 11 before we see the continuation. Again, I don't see any trade setup at this point. And for me, I'm not really interested to look for trade based on lower time frame because we can expect this one for the correction in relative to what we have here for the next drop. And the only thing is we have to wait. If we move to the weekly chart, we have to wait to see the breakout of this correction. How deep this correction can go if the price retests the lowest price of this correction with the breakout of 51, we can look for 45. Most of the chart, like as I mentioned, like Ethereum and XRP, they have similar movement. Anyway, we check the charts, we look at the charts. For the Ethereum, we see that the drop, this is where we have to look for. Because based on lower time frame, if this one turn to a correction, this is what we can expect. Okay, that's why we have to be quite careful. And this is what we can expect. It doesn't mean uh it can, I mean, we don't need to follow what I say here. Okay. What I want to say is that at this point, first of all, since the price was within this here, we come up with this 2090, almost the price tag. Okay, because if the price break 2090, we can expect the price retest this low. That's why if anyone wants to look for buy, they should know how to manage. And for me, I'm waiting to see what we will get here, because if this one turns into a correction, this is what we can expect. That's why I'm interested. I mean, I mentioned I'm not really interested to look for trade at this point. I prefer to wait. And any trade based on lower time frame will be a short-term trade. Okay, for me, I'm looking at this. We want to see whether we can look for this one or the next drop. The reasons I'm highlighting about the next drop, first of all, we want to see what we will get here. And the second, if you look at the chart, even for the Bitcoin and the rest of the charts, for example, if you move to Bitcoin, okay, if we move, this is what I was expecting. I mean, I was mentioning. If this is the correction, okay, this is what we're looking for, continuation. But the possibility for this one turn to a bigger correction is there. Okay, if this one happen, we can expect the price retest the lowest price of this one, which is somewhere around the 16 or 17. Okay, we are not really interested for this option, but we have to be aware of this option. Okay, mostly we're looking at this correction for continuation. For the rest of the chart, like Ethereum, we can expect similar movement. Even for this, here the price didn't, I mean, couldn't tag the all-time high. Okay. Anyway, I don't want to say we are looking for sell, we're looking for buy, but we have to be aware of this possibility. And if we move to Ethereum daily chart, for me, if I want to look for buy, if the price retests the lowest price of this correction, then any reversal for buy from there, I will take it. This is what I'm looking for. Okay, but at this point, whether we look for buy or sell, for me, I don't see any trade setup. And if I move to 1 hour chart, we can expect for the next drop. But again, I'm not looking for trade at this point. And if we move to XRP, similar movement. And as I mentioned, we have been looking for the XRP, and as we can see, the XRP moving within the small range for quite a long time. And as long as it start to move, we can see the movement as a sharp move. And that's why for me, if the price of the XRP drop to 42 cent or below 42 cent, this is where I'm interested to look for buy. And at that point, I will not look for any trade setup. I will just buy. Okay. But at this point, I'm not really interested. That's why I want to see what will happen. The price I'm looking for is below 42 or 41 cent, because we have a 41 cent. At that point, we don't need to. For me, I will not look for any trade setup. I just buy. Okay. And if we move to lower time frame, we don't see any information, and even we can expect the price retest the 42, 41 cent. And I don't see any trade setup because at this point, as I mentioned, I'm not really interested to look for the trade setup at the lower time frame. And can we expect this one as a correction for the next move? Technically, we can consider this one as a correction for continuation. But at this point, when we look at this relative to what we have here, we prefer to wait because the possibility for the next drop is there. Because if we have to wait to see the next drop, sometimes we see the price drop and retest this low, then we see the reversal. Yes, at that point, I will take the trade for buy. But at this point, we cannot look for buy because may the next drop, the price can retest the 41 cent. And at that times, we will be wrong about this possibility. Okay, that's why I mentioned for me, I'm not really interested to look for buy or sell at this point. I prefer to wait. And the price I'm looking for buy is below 42 cent, 42, 41, or any price lower than that. And if I move to 1 hour forward chart, we can put this one as a correction relative to what we have here. Because from what we can see here, if we see the next drop with the breakout of this low, following by a divergence, then we can consider whether we should look for buy or not. Anyway, as I mentioned, most of the chart, they have a similar movement. And again, if we move to Bitcoin based on a monthly or weekly chart, we move to monthly chart. Okay, now the question is, and mostly we're looking for this one as a correction for continuation. The only thing is, can we expect this one turn to a deeper correction similar to what we have here before we see the continuation? If this one happen, then we will be within this correction for quite long time, maybe another few years. And in this case, we have to wait to see what we get from this correction. Again, we just follow the chart. If I see any update, I will share. Thanks.